Ladies and gentlemen, the North Ridgeville City Council meeting is now in session. Today is Monday, August 4th, 2025. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Father, we thank you for the wonderful community in which we live, for the opportunity to represent it as our City Council. We ask you for your continued guidance to help us collectively make prudent decisions for the city of North Ridgeville and its residents. We also ask for your blessings over the 50th Annual Corn Festival, which will take place in our city this weekend, and for all those who will participate in that event. We pray in your name. Amen. Before we say the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to take a moment to honor Philip Wagner, the Lorain police officer who many of you have heard was senselessly killed in an ambush situation recently. Officer Wagner was a military veteran. He was a police officer who bravely put on his uniform every day to protect the community and to serve the community. Closer to home here in North Ridgeville, Officer Wagner was a husband, a father, and a neighbor. So I would like to invite everybody to please have a moment of silence in honor of the life and sacrifice of Officer Philip Wagner. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Abens.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
Awig.
Here.
DeVries.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
Law Director.
Here.
City Engineer.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Clerk of Council. Here.
Okay, tonight under the approval of minutes, we have the regular City Council meeting minutes dated July 21st, 2025. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved as submitted. Please note that council has also received the Finance Committee meeting minutes dated July 16th, 2025, the Utilities Committee meeting minutes dated July 21st, 2025, the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting minutes dated July 24th, 2025, and the Civil Service Commission meeting minutes dated July 28th, 2025. Next up is our lobby session. As a reminder, the lobby session is the portion of our meeting in which the public is allowed an opportunity to address both City Council as well as the City Administration. We do ask that anybody wishing to speak this evening speak from the podium and from the podium only, please. I will ask you to begin by stating your name and your address for the record, at which time you will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak regarding any matter pertaining to the business of City Council or the general affairs of the City of North Ridgeville. Also, as a reminder, in the interest of time, the lobby session is not intended to be an interactive question and answer session, but nonetheless, we do welcome and appreciate your feedback. Depending on the nature of your comments, a council member may follow up with you. I do have 3 written submissions. The first one that I had received here was Mrs. Kersey. If you would like to approach the podium, Mrs. Kersey, state your name and address for the record, and your 3 minutes will begin.
My name is Shelley Kersey. I live at 37886 Stony Lake Drive in North Ridgeville, Ohio. First things first, I want to correct a statement that I made last time I spoke to council on 7/21. I mistakenly reported Corcoran's salary to be $136,843, when in fact in 2024, he earned $149,619 according to public records. Corcoran's salary increased by 9.84% from 2023 to 2024. His salary is 136% higher than the average and 185% higher than the median mayor salary in 2024. I also want to bring attention to the fact that April Wilkerson, the finance director, also received a pay raise in her salary from $86,270 in 2019 to $140,726 in 2024. By the way, we also pay Dana J. Hoffman a salary of $17,500 per year to make social media posts. At this time, raises are being handed out at an alarming rate, while our mayor is crying poor. Now, our finance director was shocked when she plugged in the numbers, and Corcoran himself has stated as much as he'd like to continue to move forward and offer different services and have more employees, ease some of the burden that we have, and accomplish more projects with those employees, we are stuck with doing these kinds of things without a guaranteed revenue source. Corcoran said, meanwhile, we are handing out big fat pay raises to a certain chosen few. Yet we continue to build more and more developments with no forethought as to how we are going to provide safety services. Ask yourselves why this is okay. Tonight, Council will be asked to approve Resolution R 2025-113, declaring the necessity of an election on the question of approving the passage of an ordinance to amend Sections 878.01, 878.03, 878.04, and 878.06 of the Codified Ordinance of the City of North Ridgeville in order to provide for the levy of an additional 75/100% of income tax beginning January 1, 2026. North Ridgeville has long been touted as having a very low income tax rate of 1%, but what is not stated is those who do not work in this city are given a credit of 1/10 of that. Now, how many jobs do we have here where people can make a decent wage to support a family? Can't do it at a pizza place, a car wash, an auto parts store, or the drive-up coffee offerings. Many of us work outside the city and have been paying income taxes to North Ridgeville while also paying to the city we work in, all because we don't have these kinds of jobs here. The vague wording of the ordinance has me quite concerned. We need restricted use clauses about the additional how the tax revenue will be used. Things like police, fire, EMS, experienced, fully trained officers who are ready to hit the ground, not those just starting the academy. That would be a good start. But with Freeman's record, the rule of 3, that's a darn near impossibility. Public works and improving roads, not building roundabouts and taking property from our citizens. Full transparencies with the money, how the monies are to be spent, with the ever-present emergency clauses that happen at every single meeting. Changes need to
Excuse me,
happen.
Mrs. Kersey, your 3 minutes has expired.
To the chair, I'd like to give her an additional 3 minutes.
It'll only take me about 30 seconds.
It was moved by Schaefer and seconded by Winkle to allow Mrs. Kersey up to an additional 3 minutes to speak. Is there any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed say no. Mrs. Kersey, please proceed.
Thank you. Changes need to happen, and they begin right now, with each and every one of you sitting there tonight. I have no trust in this administration whatsoever. I have no trust in this council, save for one person, and that's Holly Swank. She is the only one who has ever reached out to me. The citizens are watching you very closely, and I will wait to see just how transparent you are between now and November. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Kersey. I also have a submission here from Marty Gallagher. If you would like to approach the podium, please state your name and address for the record, and your 3 minutes will begin.
Hi, I'm Marty Gallagher, Lorraine County Commissioner, 226 Middle Avenue in Elyria. I make a little round periodically, and I had an opening in my schedule, so I'm not appropriately dressed to address you guys, but I do apologize for that. Just give you an update with the county commissioners. Basically, last week, we all heard that we got $67.8 million for grants for sewers, so there's gonna be improvement money, put it back into our county. Thanks to Representative Gail Manning of North Ridgeville here. She went above and beyond, and Jeff Armbruster, former mayor of this city and the administration. So that's some great news. Obviously, notifying you of Lorraine County Fair, even though Corn Fest is this weekend, great event. Hopefully I'll be able to attend it. I've done it in the last 4 or 5 years, even though I don't live in the city, and I love it. The Lorraine County Fair is the 17th through the 24th. There'll be a ribbon cutting for the addition to the fairgrounds on August 15th. We also have tire collection for agricultural coming up September 25th. Couple things that might be of interest for some housing projects here. We applied for a $3.1 million or $3 million grant and for the county. And what it does is it subsidizes a house, roughly a $250,000 for the house on a vacant land, like in a community, within the community, like on a street that might have a house that was torn down or whatever, up to $100,000 off a $250,000 investment. And the person has to live there for so many years. So it's a great opportunity for people in the community to, to put in a nice house and have equity in it instantly. There is terms with it, but that grant is being applied for. We'll have about 30 homes we can do that for in the county. The other thing is that's called the Welcome Home Grant. Last week, the commissioners, the three of us, unanimously approved and voted for to put on the ballot so the taxpayers can vote to add a 0.25% tax to cover the costs of the sheriff's office. And in doing that, it takes their budget out of our budget, which gives them the ability to do it, takes politics out of it. It's their budget, and it will also free up money for our budget. So given that, I just want to give you a little bit of an update. Thanks for having me here. And if you do have questions, I'm always welcome to answer them for you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. I have a submission here from Greg Fanning. If you could state your name and address, please, for the record, and your 3 minutes will begin.
All right, well, let's see. My name's Greg Fanning, 6025 Haven Crest Court, and like Mr. Meeker, I'm probably going to have some people don't like this, but here we go. Mr. President, members of council, thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I'm here to speak on the proposed income tax increase of 1% to 1.75%. I understand the city may face financial challenges, but raising taxes on the hardworking people of North Ridgeville is not the answer. Before asking more from residents, the city needs to take a serious look at spending. Simply put, we're putting a lot of money into things that simply aren't essential right now, or may be desired but are not in the budget right now. If the city doesn't have the money for certain projects, these projects should wait. That's how households operate, that's how businesses operate, and that's how the government should operate. For example, we should not be hiring an arborist if we cannot afford one. We should not be building big, beautiful gateway signs, which are very nice, if we can't afford them. And we absolutely should not be talking about raising income taxes when spending priorities have not been reined in. The people of North Ridgeville work hard for their money. They're already dealing with inflation, higher costs of living, and stretched budgets. Asking them to give more before fixing spending is not the way forward. And here's what really concerns me. Council and the Finance Committee were told the city was in a stable financial condition, I think, last year. Now we're hearing about revenue problems. My question is, what changed? And why wasn't the public brought into this sooner? And then one thing I also want to address, North Ridgeville is not Dublin, and it never will be. North Ridgeville is not Avon, and it never will be. North Ridgeville is not Lakewood, and it never will be. And North Ridgeville is not North Olmsted, and never will be. North Ridgeville is a unique community with its own identity, made up of families, farms, neighborhoods, and local businesses. It's fine to look at what other cities are doing, but we shouldn't try to become something we're not. In conclusion, I cannot and will not support any tax increase for any reason. If there is not enough money, there need to be cuts, not increasing taxes on the hardworking people of this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fanning, for sharing your thoughts. Is there anybody else in attendance this evening who would like to address council, sir? If you could please state your name and address.
Yes, my name's John Vertochnik, 5553 Main Avenue, North Ridgeville.
Okay.
I've been a resident of North Ridgeville since 1972, and my granddaughter helped me Google when the original income tax was enacted, and that was in 1982 at Christmas time, so the residents had a nice Christmas present there. If we go back and we look, we had this income tax at 1%, and we had we gave those working outside the city a credit of, I believe, 0.5%. And after that, a year or two, 3 years, council rescinded most of that credit. Now we're looking at increases income tax with the enticement that you're going to give a credit to those who work outside the city. My concern is, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, that if the residents pass this increase and you give them that credit, down the line, you're going to take most of that credit away from them. Have you folks done anything to prevent council from taking away that credit? My understanding was originally that council could take away that credit without the vote of the citizens. And this is not too much, this is not what a lot of people realize. I'm one of the old timers, I know what happened. And I know it really upset a lot of people, most of those people a lot of those people are no longer around. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vertacci. Is there anybody else in attendance this evening? I thought I saw another hand. Mr. Beaker first, and then we'll come to you.
Again, Bob Beaker, 32415 Center Ridge Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio.
Okay.
Remember. First of all, I apologize for getting a little bit boisterous. In the last meeting, I'm very shy, and every so often I come out of that in my shell. But when I do get I get emotional when it comes to our property in our city. And when I see something I don't like, I like to talk about it. But that's not what I'm talking about to the council today. A couple of things I want to talk to council is, number one, I live on the east side, if you don't know. I live on the east side of Center Ridge Road. And as you know, over there by my property, they're replacing the bridge. And we have a real problem there. If you go to Fifth Third Bank, it says end of school zone, and they have a temporary speed limit of 45 miles an hour. That's what the speed limit is supposed to be, right in front of the construction site, and nothing slowing them down for construction. It's crazy. I mentioned it to a couple council people, and I think I hope it's just an oversight or something, but something needs to be done about that. And I know it's not the city's, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's the city's problem to change or to be able to change speed limits. But I would really like to find out how to change that section of Center Ridge Road down to 35 miles an hour. You're talking about a mile, but right there at Barton and Center Ridge, it's getting very congested. You have 35 miles an hour throughout the whole city, and traffic is not doing 45, they're doing the 55. They're getting that 10 miles in. And we're having a lot more foot traffic, as I've been talking for 2 years now, and we can't get sidewalks there. So maybe we can slow down the traffic. I mean, these kids with these scooters and the stuff they're going down there, it's getting dangerous. I sit on my front porch and I pray to God we don't have an accident. So if the city can look into that, I really would appreciate it. But something should be done about that construction, because I know they're going to go to the other side, excuse me, and start the other side of the bridge, but they should have it 20 miles an hour or something through that one, slow lanes there. And as far as the services and stuff like that, I'm sorry, you're completely wrong. Ambulances go past my house every day, 9, 10, 15 a day. Last week, they stopped at my house for me. I almost died. Sorry. We have the best ambulance and services there are. And for you about us all, not every meeting about them, just shut up. I wish the people would see what they really do for our city. When there's something wrong, but I also compliment when they do something right. And I do more complimenting than I do complaining. So people are complaining about the taxes and stuff like that. Read into it a little bit more. Greg, I know you for years. You're talking about people that are working. Well, you just started working, okay? Read into it. We need a tax increase. We just need to do it properly. Okay, that's just my opinion. We need to do it properly. We need to make sure the money's going where it's supposed to go. And we need to advertise it properly. Okay, I mean, that's the whole key. We need to get out there and educate our people why we need the increase. You think I want to pay another 7.75? Hell no.
Mr. Meeker,
need it. I'm sorry.
excuse the interruption.
That's it.
Your 3 minutes have elapsed. Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Swank?
I would like to move to give Mr. Meeker an additional up to 3 minutes if he chooses.
Second.
The motion was made by Swank and seconded by Schaefer to allow Mr. Meeker up to 3 additional minutes if you so choose.
Oh, I can go for another hour, no thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else in attendance? Oh, yeah, that's right. Sir, if you would mind approaching the podium, state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Bernard Garcia. I live at 7324 Root Road. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to speak again today. And thank you for everyone who's spoken in attendance so far. I appreciate your viewpoints and what you've had to say. I'm looking for some clarification. I'm talking about a different topic than the last time I was up here, but there is a permit on the website, the application for a solicitor and peddler permit. I was curious what we could do to maybe streamline this. I'm unsure if this is for more of like an LLC business or if it was someone like me who just wanted to sell produce in my yard. I definitely think that if we streamline this process or make it simpler for people, I understand it's just an application, but it for some people, especially my 84-year-old grandmother, it seemed very difficult for her to try to manage. And then on top of this, I know there's community gardens in the city and people seem to enjoy it. If there's enough interest, I would be curious to see if we could find a location for maybe a temporary farmer's market next year. I understand at this time of year, we're more at harvest time, but maybe with some more adequate planning. I think there's a lot of good sites in the city for that. It would draw a lot of interest from people from all walks of life and political parties. And then if it works well, we could maybe even expand it to potentially sell other things there, like a miniature flea market. We could showcase the wonderful things that the people of North Ridgeville do, sell, create, and represent the city. With that as well, it is the Corn Festival week. One of the best things Ridgeville does is the Corn Festival. There's a lot of hardworking people that put forth a lot of effort, and we take a lot of pride in it. I've seen other cities, Wellington was one of them, where they removed a festival or they changed it. I'd prefer Ridgeville's to keep theirs the same. I think it's an excellent way to showcase all the wonderful people that live here and all the wonderful things that we do. So if there's a way where we could cement that in some type of legislation, that it would stay how it is and potentially stay where it is, I think it's one of the most unique festivals in Ohio, and it's probably one of the best things we do. And then lastly, I didn't originally wish to speak about this, but it may be something that we need to speak about as a community as a whole. They talked about the industrial site, Mr. Gallagher, where they got the funding to do the sewers and stuff. As a city of North Ridgeville, we need to be careful and make sure that we don't wind up with an Amazon or a data center or a big FedEx facility in our yard. I've seen other communities in Ohio where they open up for big grants and then they wind up with something there that they didn't originally plan. Unfortunately, money talks, and Jeff Bezos and some of those other very rich people, they're probably going to outbid us every time. But thank you for your time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia, for being here again and for sharing your thoughts as well. Is there anybody else in attendance who would like to address council or the administration this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will move to administrators' reports.
Through the chair,
And Mr. Schaefer?
during our last lobbying session, there was a constituent that asked, what is that big mound of dirt next to the BP station across from McDonald's? And I looked into this, and apparently this is the landfill from where they're building the high school. And apparently it's going to go back. Although if they're building a luxury swimming pool in the high school, I'm not sure if that land will go back. And perhaps the engineer can add anything to that.
Was somebody going to add something? I don't know.
Okay.
No, I can address it in my report if you'd like.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mayor, please go ahead with your report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the community for their overwhelming support of fallen officer Philip Wagner. It was impressive when the residents were lining the streets during the entire procession route to remember him. as a devoted father, husband, police officer, and U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He lived to serve and made the ultimate sacrifice to protect others, and we honor his service and we wish him well in his resting in peace. Our Public Works Department Streets Division milled Bagley Road from Lorraine to the Turnpike overpass last week. They're finishing up repairs in preparation to pave the roadway this week. We do not have a construction schedule yet or a paving schedule yet until they complete those repairs, but it could be Wednesday, Thursday of this week. So the Corn Festival kicks off on Friday, August 8th through Sunday, August 10th. There'll be a Friday night drone show, a Saturday morning classic car show at Old Town Hall, corn eating contest Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon, the parade. If you're interested in all the information and activities, please visit nrcornfest.org. I will point out that the Corn Festival is a nonprofit corporation and is not run by the city of North Ridgeville. With the Corn Festival, there'll be some closures of some roads and the splash pad. So Bainbridge Road will be closed between State Route 83 and Route Road beginning Thursday, August 7th at noon. We'll reopen Monday, August 11th at 6 a.m., and that will to allow ample time for setup and tear down. The parade will be held on Sunday, August 10th at 1:30 p.m. Ranger Way will close at noon and will remain closed for the duration of the parade. The parade route will be departing from Ranger Way, heading north to Center Ridge, west on Center Ridge, south on Route Road, east on Bainbridge Road, and ending back at Ranger Way. And those roads will be closed during the time of the parade. And during the festival, the splash pad at South Central Park will be closed beginning 3 p.m. on Friday, August 8th, and reopened to our residents on Monday, August 11th at 10 a.m. On Wednesday, August 13th, from 8:30 to 9:30 in council chambers, I will have another edition of Coffee and Conversation, and this month's special guest will be Roxanne Ramsey Casario, the superintendent of North Ridgeville City Schools. She'll share updates on the school construction progress, upcoming plans, and what the community can expect as we head into the new school year. The dirt that is at the old middle school site has been removed from the construction site. They need that dirt once the construction site is finished with some of the underground infrastructure, so they'll be returning that dirt back to the construction site. And then the middle school property will return back to its state before the dirt was placed over there. At this point, make the motion to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to go into executive session for the purposes just discussed by the mayor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will adjourn into executive session temporarily.
Oh, those are the best.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience, everybody. At this time, I will make a motion to adjourn the executive session and to return to our regular session this evening.
Second.
The motion was made by Jacobson, seconded by Swink to adjourn executive session and to return to regular session. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink.
Yes.
Schaefer. Yes. Abens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Haywig.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries and back in regular session.
Mr. Mayor, does that conclude your report? Okay. All right. Thank you. City Engineer?
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, our engineering secretary, Lucy Rodriguez, retired after almost 30 years. After sending her off with our very best well wishes, we now find ourselves with no secretary. Engineering does have an administrative coordinator position posted on our website as well as Indeed to fill this gap. So if you know of anyone, please send them our way. And please bear with us if we're not as expedient as we have been. Backflow tests were due June 15th. If your test was performed, but your plumber has not yet registered with our outside consultant, BSI Online, please remind them to do so to avoid a potential violation letter. Lastly, I just wanted to address Mr. Meeker's concern regarding the US 20 bridge replacement. That is ODOT-led, an ODOT-led project, but I will speak with our project manager over there and see if there isn't something we can do about the traffic situation. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Director of Finance?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Nothing this evening. Okay, thank you. Council has received the June 2025 Water Distribution and EPA Report, the June 2025 Police Department Report, and the June 2025 Parks and Recreation Division Report. Was that on this agenda? Maybe from last time. We do have some correspondence that was received from the Department of Commerce, and a summary of which appears on our agenda this evening. Clerk, if you could please read the summary of the correspondence.
Department of Commerce notice to Legislative Authority, objections to the renewal of all Class C and D retail liquor permits that sell alcoholic beverages in the city of North Ridgeville are due by September 2nd, 2025.
I believe that then will bring us to recess.
Mr. President, move to dispense with recess.
Second.
It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to dispense with recess this evening. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed say no. Okay, recess has been dispensed. Up first tonight under first readings is 2025-115.
An ordinance amending Chapter 628 Fair Housing of the North Ridgeville General Offenses Code.
2025-115 will be referred to the Building and Lands Committee. (2025-116).
An ordinance amending ordinance number 6025-2022 by authorizing the purchase instead of entering into a 5-year lease/purchase agreement of a single axle dump truck with plow and accessories from the state bid list or state co-op not to exceed $250,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Abens to dispense with the second and third readings for 2025-116. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President, council approved the purchase of 2 international single-axle dump trucks, one in 2022 and a second in 2024. The 22 truck was to be a lease purchase. The other was a full purchase. Inadvertently, the 22 truck was paid in full. The legislation is intended to correct the wording to match what actually happened. If you remember back then, at that point in time, vehicles in general, but those trucks were taking a long time, so there's just some confusion about the 22 and the 24 because of when they arrived. It was close together.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any additional comments or questions? Again, the motion was made by the mayor, seconded by Abens, to dispense with the second and third readings for 2025-116. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so that we can correct this issue.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Abens to add the emergency clause to 2025-116 to correct the issue as stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Abens to adopt 2025-116 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries and 2025-116 has been adopted.
2025-117.
An ordinance approving the sale of certain personal property owned by the city of North Ridgeville pursuant to ORC Section 721.15D.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to dispense with the second and third readings for 2025-117. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President, this is to sell a trailer, and this being a better time to sell a trailer than, say, in September, October time period when this would normally work its way through the system. As we have with other property that we sell, we're always trying to sell the property as soon as possible, so that way we can maximize the return on the sale. So I'm asking for this to pass with the emergency tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments or questions? So again, the motion was made by the mayor, seconded by Awig to dispense with the second and third readings for 2025-117. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Sorry.
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add emergency clause for reasons stated by the mayor.
Second.
It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2025-117 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to adopt 2025-117 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries and 2025-117 has been adopted.
Under second readings tonight, we have 2025-111.
An ordinance accepting certain streets improvements located in Waterbury subdivision number 9 and dedicating them for public purposes.
Twenty 2025-113.
A resolution declaring the necessity of an election on the question of approving the passage of an ordinance to amend sections 878.01, 878.03, 878.04, and 878.06 the codified ordinances of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio, in order to provide for the levy of an additional 75/100% 0.75% income tax beginning January 1st, 2026.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Abens to dispense with the third reading for 2025-113. Are there any comments or questions at this time?
Through the chair,
Mr. Schaefer?
why?
Mr. President, would you like me to answer that?
Please.
In order for it to make the ballot, Mr. Schaefer, it has to be to the Board of Elections by, is it Thursday of this week? The
The 6th, I believe.
The 6th. Thank you, Wednesday. So if we are going to pass it tonight, then it needs to pass with the emergency clause in order to make it onto the ballot for the fall election.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional questions? Mrs. Awig, go ahead.
I just want to clarify, we are voting to put this on the ballot, is that correct? We're not voting for it. We're voting to put it on the ballot for the city, the residents of the city to make the decision as to whether they want the income increase or not. The increase on the income tax, correct?
Yes. Yeah, that is accurate.
That is correct. You're just putting it on the ballot. The people decide.
Are there any additional questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Winkle?
this is a hot topic. I thought I'd add a few words to this. As a council member, you're here to represent the voice of the people that live in your in my case, Ward 4. So a little over 9,000 people that look to me to be their voice here, their representation here, and I make decisions with them in mind the best I can every day. When I can make a decision to give them the choice to make their own decision by putting something on the ballot, I most usually will agree to do that, because let them vote, let the people vote, let their word and their, what they want to see happen turn out to the polls and decide for themselves. My personal opinion, whether for or against, shouldn't matter at that point. I want to give power to the people to make their decisions. So I will be supporting to put this on the ballot so that people can go to the ballot and make their decision. A wise woman once told me, always vote what's best for your family. And you know, I may or may not agree with you, you may not agree with me, but if you always vote what's best for your family, I'll always respect that. And that's how I feel about it. So that's why I'll be supporting it. And I just want to do a quick comment on the emergency clause. The emergency clause is kind of it's like not always an emergency, if we all notice. You know, emergency clause is misleading because the emergency clause is described that way, but every emergency you would use the emergency clause, but every emergency clause isn't necessarily an emergency because it's a tool we use for expediting things. And in this case, we're using this to expedite it to get to beat a deadline. We do this all the time to beat certain deadlines that are set forth before us. So I just wanted to put that out there. Just don't get hung up on the word emergency. It's misleading. It's a tool for us to be able to expedite things for scheduling. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Winkle. Any additional members of council?
Mr. President?
Mrs. Swink, go ahead.
I agree with Cliff. I do believe that it should be up to the voters to decide. However, this one has me a little timid. I think it's because we had this out of the blue finance committee meeting that we're in the red, we're in the red, we're in the red. And then 2 weeks later, their solution was, let's hit everybody up with an income tax increase. I think it needs to be discussed more. I think we need to see if there's places we can cut our budget rather than throwing it onto the people. And this is something that's gonna take a long time to get people to understand what the needs are for and for it to even pass. So I will not be supporting this legislation today.
Thank you, Mrs. Swink. Are there any additional comments?
Through the chair.
Mr. Schaefer.
Ronald Reagan once said, "No society ever taxed its way into prosperity," and I tend to agree with that. I'm not thoroughly convinced that we've made any effort to cut reckless, wasteful spending. So to help out, I have 3 solutions. Ms. Christie suggested that our executives are overpaid. I think it would be a good symbol to show they have skin in the game if they would take a pay cut. Because if we're in a financial straits like this, it almost seems like we're paying Gucci, Tiffany, Neiman Marcus prices for a Dollar Tree level service. So I just think that we need to look at spending reductions. I also think we should get rid of all this gateway CIC because we're dumping money into a rat hole, basically, and it's very, very speculative. I think basically that when you find yourself in a hole, the first thing you do is stop digging. And as long as we keep doing all this reckless spending, we are just keeping digging. And I don't think the taxpayer should bear the burden of bailing us out of a mess. I think we need to first address the spending problem. Another spending idea is our high school, the one we're building, has a luxury swimming pool in it. I've looked at some statistics, and a swimming pool costs between $10 million and $20 million. So if we just got rid of the gateway, got rid of the swimming pool, problem solved.
I would
Don't
point out,
everybody
though,
pat
that
me on the back at
the
the same
swimming
time.
pool is not, that is part
Mr.
of the
President, may I
city,
respond?
the city schools and not necessarily part
Yes,
of
but what
the
I'm saying
city
is we can
government.
reduce the millage for the school and apply it to another millage for this fund to bail down.
Mr. Abitz?
I'm just saying a school does not need a swimming pool. Hell, I went to
Please go
college
ahead.
and didn't even have a swimming pool.
The ignorance shown by the ward councilman from 2 is staggering.
Why, because I don't want a swimming pool?
The school budget has nothing to do with the city budget.
What I'm saying is you can reduce the
Their levy
millage.
has
Mr.
nothing to
President,
do with the
Mr.
city.
President,
You can reduce the millage.
he's out of order.
The city has nothing to do with the school budget, has nothing to do with their levies. That is a conversation not appropriate for this particular council. Is just staggering. If you really looked and if you listened to our finance director, this year and next year, our budget is okay. What we're looking at is the future. And the future says we're in trouble. I've had constituents contact me by phone and by email asking, why is the city still living in the dark ages with just a 1%? And if you really looked at it, the city will be offering a 1% rebate, call it what you will. Thereby, many of our constituents will be getting a reduction because right now they're paying 0.9 if they work outside the city. With the tax increase, if you want to call it that, they'll be now paying 0.75. And also the argument that we don't have high-paying jobs in this city, they're again overlooking the new companies that have located in North Ridgeville, Dayton Truck, Roof Manufacturing. Also, let's not forget about University Hospital. There are high wages in all of those areas. This is just, I don't often get mad and that type of thing, but when you start confusing two different budgets that have no connection to each other, that is just staggering ignorance on my part, in my mind. And just so you know, I will be voting for this because the people should be given the opportunity to vote for this. This should not just be a council decision. And in the meantime, I'm not one to raise taxes. I don't like them. But when you look at the budget and look at it carefully, you'll see that the city will be needing additional funds come the year of 27, 28, and 30. And the present 1% just isn't going to cover it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abens.
May I respond, please?
I'd like to just make sure everybody's had an opportunity to speak. Is there anybody else who wishes to address or any questions?
Mr. President,
Mr. DeVries?
I will be supporting this. I don't want to pay more taxes. But the truth is the cost of the services we provide go up. And I've heard the argument, well, we got more people living here. It costs more money to take care of more people. Take a look around the surrounding communities. You know, there's Avon, Westlake, North Olmsted. Even if we raise this to 1.75, we're still the lowest. This town is growing so fast. We need to be able to provide services to keep us safe. God forbid something ever happens, it's really a tragedy. Again, I don't want to pay more taxes, but when it comes to protecting this city, protecting the children of this city, and getting the roads right so we can travel through this city, it's something you need to think about. I would challenge all of you to go out and look at the surrounding communities and find out what they're paying in their income tax. You'll be shocked. You'll be absolutely shocked. Now, I've been on the finance committee for years, and we sit there and we cut and we look at things, at projects that we don't do. If we don't hire certain people, we set a limit. And, you know, those are things you have to do to be responsible to run a city. But when we're asking for more money to help us, I don't think it's out of line. I really don't. You know, there's certain people here who promise they're going to hire more cops and hire more firemen, and they're not going to raise taxes. I don't know what magic potion does that. Please show me, because as a banker, it's not possible. I will be supporting this because I care about this community. I care about the people who live in it and the people who work in it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. DeVries. Any other members of council? No additional comments or questions?
Mr. President, I'd like
Mr.
to
Mayor?
address the comment about wasteful spending. I hate to remind everybody, but we talk about this every year at budget time. Council approves the budget. Council approves the spending. If you're going to call out wasteful spending, You have to look inward at yourself. The administration spends the money that council appropriates to it. That, not the other way around. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments or questions at this time? So again, it was
Do I get a
moved by the
chance to
mayor.
speak again?
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Abens to dispense with the third reading for 2025-113. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
No.
Schaefer,
No.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes,
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 5-2.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so that way we may meet the Board of Elections deadline of Wednesday, August 6th.
Second.
The motion was made by the mayor, seconded by Abens to add the emergency clause to 2025-113 in order to meet the deadline at the Board of Elections. On the emergency clause alone, well, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
No.
Schaefer,
No.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
yes,
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-2.
It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Abens to adopt 2025-113 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any final comments or questions?
Through the chair,
Mr. Schaefer?
Mr. Avens misunderstand what I was trying to explain to him. It is not ignorance of the law, but it is knowledge of the law. And I know for a fact Josh Mandel cut millages on school levies 3 times when he was in Lyndhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
No.
Schaefer,
No.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
yes,
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-2, and 2025-113 has been adopted.
2025-114.
An ordinance amending sections 878.01, 878.03, 878.04, and 878.06 of the codified ordinances of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio, to provide for the levy of an additional 75/100%, 0.75% income tax beginning January 1st, 2026, and to provide for a credit up to 1% of the income paid to other municipalities.
I will, at this time, make a motion to postpone 2025-114 until the December 1st, 2025 council meeting, which is the first council meeting that will take place after the results of the November 4th, 2025 general election are certified.
Second.
Motion was made by Jacobs and seconded by Abens to postpone 2025-114 until the December 1st, 2025 council meeting. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink?
so this is not going on the ballot with the income tax hike to give the credit? Will it go on the primary ballot if it passes? I'm confused.
The first piece of legislation, 113, was the legislation putting putting it on the ballot.
Correct.
This 114 then is the ordinance that actually puts that income tax into place. So until we have a vote of the people, we can't move forward with this. So it's being postponed until after the election so we can see how the people vote.
But this one talks about the credit.
Yeah.
President, yeah, what she's
Mrs. Awig?
asking, I guess, is, will the people be voting on that as well, or will it just be council?
The ballot language itself includes language about the 1% credit. Is that correct?
It does not.
It does not. The credit is a legislative action.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this has been brought to the table, but as I said, will be postponed until after the November 4th election.
Through the chair.
I'm not
So,
finished.
so what they'll be voting on does not include this 1% credit.
That appears to be the
We
case.
can't put the credit in place
Okay.
without
Until
It
the,
passes.
the vote of the people on the increase.
So then we'll have to pass
One-
the credit.
Yes, one has to come first before the second one.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Do we have any additional comments or questions?
Through the chair, I have a question.
Mr. Schaefer?
Is this a one-time vote, or does this perpetually go into the ballot year after year after year until it eventually passes in a low turnout off-year election?
I can address that.
Please.
Income tax increases will be dictated by the budget itself. I know there was a comment that this came out of the blue, but we've been talking about the deficit that we're facing in future years for several years. Every November, we've been talking about it. I'm perplexed at the idea that people think that this is just something new that we've talked about, but we've talked about it for several years now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Schaefer, or Mr. Abens?
I agree with the mayor. I've looked at this being on the finance committee. I've seen this coming for years. And as the mayor is aware, I've resisted up to this point any tax increase because 5-year plans tend to be best guesses, but we're no longer at a 5-year plan. It's now 2-3 years down the road. We're getting a very good look at it. And our growth is, in spite of what has been stated, our growth is slowing down. So that slowdown is now forcing us to look at the realities of the situation, that additional monies are needed to run the city. It's a hard fact to accept. I don't like it. So the mayor is correct. We've looked at this. We've seen it coming. It's finally starting to hit us. And again, I thank the finance director for the information and her due diligence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abens. Any additional comments or questions?
Through the chair,
Mr. Schaefer?
I'm totally confused now. If we've known about this for 5 years at least, why did you push a property tax increase to build a school with a swimming pool? It seemed like your priorities are askew.
Once again, Mr. Schaefer.
That is a separate entity.
It's
We-
a separate
The city
entity.
did not
We
push
have
that.
nothing
I
to
know
do with
that.
that. Well, stop asking about it. We are city government.
I'm
They are
asking.
the city schools. We're two separate organizations. The money does not mix.
But what I'm saying is you were in a booth at the Corn Festival pushing this. Every person on this committee was pushing this school levy. Why did we put the priority on pushing for a school with a swimming pool when we knew that we were having budgetary? Look, I've been here a year. I don't say I know everything, but I just know how to balance a budget. And when you're in debt or looking at having trouble, you don't go out and buy a luxury item. If you're having trouble paying your mortgage, you don't go out and buy a Rolls Royce.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. So again, on the motion to postpone 2025-114, the motion was made by Jacobson, seconded by Abens. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes,
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries, and 2025-114 has been postponed.
There are no pieces of legislation under third readings this evening. As far as upcoming meeting announcements, there is a Building and Lands Committee meeting that will be held on Monday, August 18th, 2025 at 6:15 p.m. here in council chambers. That meeting is to review and discuss ordinance 2025-110, updating the zoning code regarding the use regulations for gas stations. And the next regular city council meeting will also be held on Monday, August 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. here in council
Through
chambers.
the chair.
Mr.
I
Schaefer.
just would like to know, with the Corn Festival coming up, all of these people will be at the Republican booth, and come by and say hi to us.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.